Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids and we're back for some more Bastion and we are going over
here yet.
Oh, I totally forgot to activate one of our cores that apparently we had but did not use last time, so let's make sure we do that here.
Zol's travels ain't much compared to what the kids had to go through for all this.
Okay. Let's see, so we have a new foundation on which we can build either a shrine, and we saw this previously. This is the thing that will allow us to increase the difficulty of the game, and in doing so, give us some additional experience and give us some additional shards so that we can level up more quickly and buy some more stuffs. So that's an option. So plans for a facility whose sacred idols may bring fortune or ruin. Just need a place to build it. Whether the gods will help or hinder in the wake of the calamity is anyone's guess. Or alternatively, the memorial, which we had the option to choose last time, but we opted not to do it. Plans for structure that chronicles past and future efforts, just need a place to build it. A necessary testament to the calamity. By paying tribute to the past, one may better prepare for the future. I'm not sure, when we encountered the shrine just from a mission, we only saw one option to activate, and we activated it, so I mean, I imagine that certainly over time we will get additional options, but if there aren't any additional ones right now, then there's no reason to build this in the immediate term, so maybe we go memorial. Let's see. What is the deal? New vigils available.
The memorial. Here a kid can pay respect to the old world and earn it in kind.
Construct a memorial to Caelondia. Build the memorial in the Bastion. It gives us some shards and, well, but I guess we do this?
The valediction. Just another one of my sketches. Nothing more.
Okay. So, vigil completed, a symbolic gesture at best. Nonetheless, the memorial pays homage to the ways things used to be. So it looks like, yeah, we need to complete additional challenges in order to get, at times, pretty huge chunks of rewards. So earn first prize in, all 7? Or at least, I don't know if 7 is every single proving ground, but that's a lot. Then discover the lost mementos. Gain the required number of mementos strewn across the countryside. Okay, we have 8 thus far, and theoretically there are 7 more somewhere. Learn the secret skills, gain the required number of secret skill techniques. We're at 7 out of 20, so yeah, basically just a whole bunch of things that we can try to do. Now, I'm not sure we're necessarily going to do every single one of these things, but or any of them for that matter, but they're good targets, especially if you're trying to 100% the game. But at the end of the day, it's just giving you the shards, which is certainly nice for making additional upgrades, but if you're playing through and doing all the missions, and especially if you're activating more of the idols, then you may not necessarily need them. But restore land piece by piece, raise the required number of land pieces through travel and exploration. Okay. Oh, so quite literally just by walking around and having the world get built around you. That's interesting. The Mercy, vanquish creatures touched by the calamity, defeat the required number of different species of beasts. We've done 5 out of 15 there, which may perhaps be a bit of an indication of how far along we are in the game. So maybe we're roughly a third in that case. Then we have the option of, okay, various challenges with the different weapons. So defeat 3 foes with a single well-timed power shot with the bow. Defeat a hardy foe with the last bolt in a clip. Okay. So, I don't know, hardy foe, if that means it has to be one of the stronger boss enemies, or if it can be quite literally anyone as long as it's the final clip in a round. No, it's gotta be one of the bigger enemies, right? Because we've probably done that against little mini squirts. Defeat a foe by counterblocking its melee attacks while at less than 20% health. Okay, so you gotta be bold to pull that off. We did do this, I don't know if we were at 20% or fewer health, but we did this a bit against some of the turrets recently. Quickly strike foes 15 times in a row without missing with the machete. I mean, if you have a big boss enemy that you can hit 15 times before it goes down, and it's relatively immobile, then that might work, but I don't think that's going to happen very often, so yeah, it's going to take some precision. Then defeat 10 or more foes in a single well-placed shot with the scrap musket. Okay, so those are the various things we can
Words can't
try to
express
do.
what happened, but they're all I got.
But we at least get a chunk at the very beginning here, so that's something. But either way, I think we are either looking to head out to our next spot here, or alternatively, we did also see that there is this new pipe to check out, so let's give it a look.
Poor kid collapses after just one drag.
Because what exactly is this?
The past. Only good thing ever come out of the past is history.
Alright, and here we are. What exactly is the deal here? Well, enemies is the answer. Ooh, that's not where we want to be standing against that guy. Could we potentially take you out?
The
Last
past
clip.
catches up with the kid. Hardly had a moment's rest since all this started.
Not really what I wanted to do, but okay. So it's basically, as we can start to see here. Speaking of starting to see, I did not see that guy. I was paying all the attention to the turret, rather than this guy or the edge of the world. Okay, but now he just knocked himself that time. Mike's still alive, hanging out there. Yeah, he is. You are still alive.
Fair to say he's led a hard life. Supposing what he says in his sleep ain't no lie.
So it's an additional challenge area where we run into, well, more enemies, but we can get additional rewards for it. We gotta heal.
He never knew his old man, but he had his mama to take care of. Frail thing with pure white hair like his.
And, well, the enemies will spawn in, even if we try to get clever and not take the reward yet. Now, our hammer does seem to have quite... Ooh, man, that hurts. Quite the slow, use rate. Fire rate, or what have you. Well, attack speed, I should say. It's not a range weapon, please. We have to deal with our... There we go. That's what happened.
Having his mama's hair did the kid no favors while he was growing up, but he learned to hold his own out there.
Liking the health tonic, because we could use it right about now. These guys are a little tough. These can be. That's one down.
School ain't working out, so the kid signs up for a turn on the rippling walls. Make his mama some money.
Ooh, you still have the range. Still have the range. Yeah, I know we should. We should. That is
Thanks
also
to
not what
folks
I
like
meant to
the
do.
kid, the walls kept Caelondia safe from whatever's out there. The elements, the Ura, you name it. Once the kid done his time, he hurried on home. Turns out his mama's time was done too.
Ooh, that's not good. You are huge. And you may have noticed, also, gets rid of the ground when he attacks. So that might be a good enemy to say, chuck it through these at. You're not dead.
The city had nothing for him. The money he'd been sending home was nowhere to be found either.
Okay. There you saw, I believe we are technically done with this select, or this reflection, I should say. So there is a finite length, finite duration of these challenges. Just try not to get cornered too much by these guys and use our range advantage to our advantage. Whenever possible.
So what'd the kid do? Why, he went right on back to the walls for another 5 years.
Ooh, hello to you too. These guys, they hit hard. And it's just that you don't have what it takes to take them out. They'll get you.
Nobody's ever volunteered for a second shift on the walls.
But we did. Excuse me, you were gonna explode like that? It's rude. Completed the trappers. I'm entirely sure what that means. This is hurt quite a bit.
Out there, a kid learned to fend for himself. Learn to build. Learn to break.
Oh, I did not mean to do that. That was a waste. Okay, this could be turning into the grenade territory soon. Let's see if we can thin the pack a little bit. The repeater. Damage is great.
In time, the kid earned good standing with the marshals. They trusted him to scout out farther than anybody.
Gotta get rid of this. There we go. Get out of this corner. There we go. Oh, it's a whole lot more where that came from. I'm afraid. The hammer is just, it's not feeling great. Feels very lackluster compared to the other weapons we've been using.
One night, on one of his expeditions, the ground beneath him shuddered, cracked, and split apart.
You are down. Don't want to be heading over there, though. Take you out from range if we can.
He saw nothing where the world used to be. The calamity happened just like that.
So we're getting close to the end here. Ooh, that's the tough one.
All the kid had to work with was his hammer and the clothes on his back.
That would probably heal. There's the speedy guy that charged at us? I don't think so. And they're just a little too quick for us to stay with the repeater, which is a problem. There we go.
Through twisted streets, he ran with nothing but the city crest and an old stranger's voice to guide him.
That sounds familiar. You also make the ground go away. I feel like you might. You do. So let's try to chuck some grenades at you guys. Like now. Range though. The range. And now we're out. Yikes. Okay, that's not good. Oh, that's not good either. Very much don't want these things here. So the problem with these guys is, if you take too long to take them out, the area you have to maneuver around gets considerably smaller. That's an issue. That is starting to become a factor, but I think it might just be this guy now.
Will have finally arrived at Caelondia's vaunted safe haven. He and no one else.
Ooh, that was a nasty place to get stuck in. Have any more of our special secret attacks? It's the key these guys just don't get stuck in the corner, he says as he goes near the corner, but still gotta sneak in some hits. Get in our damage, right? Of course, ideally, we would be focusing on taking down one of them. I think we did get rid of one. Two.
But then,
Take it all three.
all they got was more thankless work from a man who ain't even asked his name.
Bad timing. Kind of. Third is this? Kind of goes boom when it goes down. And also gets rid of space. Oh, these are the homing ones. Okay. These are the homing ones. Now I see.
Sure, I may be the one who dreamt up the walls and the Bastion, but the kid made them real, not me.
Ooh, okay. Well, I think this might be the final one. Let's not stay there. Preferably. Or there, really. Ooh, that doesn't help. Okay. This will be our last heal. Now we just have this guy, but we don't exactly have a lot of space to work with here. That is the downside of having taken a little while to take out some of those other guys, but
I'd like to say I'll never forget him, or what he's doing, what he's done. I surely would.
There we go, reflection complete. And so, totally optional, but a challenge route that you can opt to take, and in doing so, we got a lot of experience and a whole lot of our shards. Not here, it's not as obvious this time around, but we go to, say, the forge, or suppose, actually, the best place might be, say, the lost and found. We have 1,400 now, so we could buy either additional skills or resources. That is kind of nice. I mean, I was saying how I was not the biggest fan of how we were doing with the hammer there, so I feel like I am a big fan, though, of the repeater, and it's pretty cheap.
Finders keepers.
The resources for it. So let's buy that, and then maybe buy an upgrade for it. Because with that, also, it seems like this is less expensive for whatever reason. You can get the additional ammo capacity, which, as I was saying when we previously made our, was it an initial upgrade? Yeah. Getting the ammo capacity, although it may not seem like that's a direct damage upgrade, it does mean that you can fire a whole bunch more times before you have to reload. And the deal with the Fang Repeater is basically just press the fire button as quickly as you can, and you can get ridiculous damage that way. So the only limitation is pretty much your ammo capacity, and then once you do need to reload, you probably need to retreat a little bit or find a different enemy to engage with, and so getting the additional capacity would be really nice. So I do like that. Alternatively, you reload faster. I think that was, yeah, the alternative here as well. So you can maybe get what is, I don't know, like if you go 55% reload speed plus 55% reload speed, is it quick enough that it is almost instantaneous so you can more or less just non-stop fire? Maybe. I mean, you do have the option to switch whenever you'd like, so...
Now he can shoot that Fang Repeater all day long.
either way, you may be shooting it all day long, but we'll start this route, and then maybe if we want to experiment later on, we can switch things around there. Okay. So now let's venture out. And so, I mean, we could try the repeater proving ground now that we've fully upgraded the repeater, but we have not yet tried the Bullhead Court. We also have the Zolwood Grove, which I don't think we've tried either. Oh, really? Only just got the place for the proving ground for the hammer when that was our first weapon. That's a little odd. But we also have the Langston River, where we have a core detected. I mean, we have... I would like to get a core, but at the same time, with all of the proving grounds that we've not yet tried, I feel like we might want to give at least one of those a shot now. And then, that way we're splitting them up a little bit more. So, sure, we'll go for the shield one, I suppose.
The accused always got a fair shake in Caelondia.
Oh.
Some used to take the bullhead trial.
So it's just shards, it seems. Deflect attacks without getting hit. Sure.
Survive the trial without taking a scratch. You'd walk away a free man.
Did we get clever trying to do the counters? Excuse me? You faked it? It's extremely rude. Probably shouldn't counter. Well, we just don't even have another weapon. So we don't even have the option to try and hit this guy.
The bullhead trial taught folks 3 things. First, a good defense is a good offense.
That was bad.
Second, you gotta always watch your back.
Shouldn't be that close to these guys.
Third, ain't no godlike bull up there gonna save you.
That was bad timing. That was also bad timing. I don't think we actually damage them unless we actually pull off the counter. Oh, and now time out for too long. There we go. Oh, have we seen these before? We have. You attack very quickly, comparatively speaking. There we go. Ooh, have we ever tried countering the squirts? They're quick. Hello. That was... I did it too early, then I stopped, and I did it too late. There we go. We started off so strong. And of course it did get more difficult as time went on, but we also just messed it up. Ooh, hello. Not really ready for that. Oh, I was definitely not ready for that. Ooh, hello.
The smarter ones knew when to just step aside and let things go.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, admittedly, not very good against these guys. Ooh. Have any charge up at all? Basically your eyes? Okay, yeah. Eyes are the tell. Ooh. That time your eyes were... Okay, well now we just can't even see your eyes. So yeah, I suppose that's when you decide to just move.
The kid pulls through in fine form.
Okay. Yeah. We got hit 15 times. Out of curiosity, what is top one? 3 hits or fewer? Wow. Okay, I don't know if that's ever happening. It may not. But we at least get some decent shards out of that.
Well, the kid always wanted to compete in the bullhead trial.
Apparently we did. I can't say I knew that we always wanted to do that, but apparently we always wanted to do that. Let's head back out, and we might even try one more trial here, just because, again, I want to try to avoid having us do 3 or 4 trials in a row, so, you know, 2 isn't so bad, I suppose. What about the Zolwood Grove for the musket? Caelondia's marshals fine-tuned their muskets and planned their patrols here.
Ever felt a Zolwood gourd, like picking up broken glass barehanded? At Zolwood Grove, marshals learn to make every shot count.
Okay. Let's see. What is the deal? Destroy all targets in a few shots.
The trick was to pop all those nasty gourds without wasting ammo.
Okay. So just basically getting the angles right. I don't know, if we upgrade our musket at all, what do we have?
Most marshals didn't get far on their first few tries.
And because there's the knockback, we can potentially line up a lot of these guys as well. Especially if we are conscious about the angle in which we're hitting them. What happens if we hit them off the side? Oh, that counts. Okay. That does count. So I do like that then. Like, we could just go... boom, knock a whole bunch off. Probably could have got a few more there.
A bunch of those gourds in a single shot.
I'd like to get these, but if we could get these two plus slightly more, that'd be ideal. Yeah, okay.
Funny thing about muskets is they work best up close.
It's true. No, it's less than ideal that time, but oh, speaking of less than ideal. Oops. Oh, what?
The best of the best cleared the course in just a few shots.
How about that? We did have a few minor mistakes there, but it seemed like we had the right idea because there you have it. That's all three. So we got the first place prize. And as I was saying, I'm not even sure we had upgraded our musket at all. So the key is absolutely just knock them off the edge. What was this? That last thing. Scrap salvo. Is that it? The trappers. Show surpassing skill with the Fang Repeater. Defeat a hardy foe with the last bolt clip. But we already... We've seen this. I mean, it's a challenge, yes, but why is it showing up here? I'm not sure. Let's head back. Oh. Let's head back, unless there's stuff we can break along the way.
Kid probably could have made himself marshal one day.
Okay. So now we have a whole lot more resources to use here at the fort, including some that we still don't know how to use, but I don't think we had upgraded our musket yet, so, no, we had not. We completed the challenge with, well, an unupgraded musket. We can increase the range and reduce the spread. I mean, in some ways that's a good thing, in some ways that's a bad thing. A specially crafted barrel designed to enhance the musket's accuracy and effective range. So, yeah, definitely makes it more of a long-range weapon in that case. Because the reduced spread means you're shooting same enemy more times if you're further away, whereas it also means you're hitting fewer enemies in total, which, depending on what you're trying to do, may be a good thing, may be a bad thing. Alternatively, okay, yeah, so basically, it's a question of you can turn it into a even more of a close-range weapon like this, or try to turn it into a long-range weapon like that. So, I don't know. I mean, I was saying previously how I generally like to have some kind of range weapon along with some kind of melee weapon, and, well, with this being so close range, it felt like you kind of needed to have the musket plus another range weapon, which just, I mean, it probably works, but it feels strange. So maybe we do turn this into a ranged weapon then.
You want to tune a scrap musket, you start with the barrel.
Then we can go for the extra damage with heavy shells, munition cartridges filled with sharp, hard-packed alloy scrap, or shots cause greater knockback, munition cartridges filled with larger scrap pieces designed for impact force. That feels like if you went with the close range, wider spread, and you also took impact shells, then you could basically turn this into a crowd control weapon, and just anytime anyone gets anywhere near you, you fire it and they all get knocked back significantly. Whereas this one, yes, there is the knockback component, but it's not going to be as potent, and because you're only going to be knocking back one or two enemies, or at least a smaller number of enemies, that's not going to be as big a factor as just the damage. So, yeah, it seems like this column might be sort of the damage side, whereas this is more the crowd control side. Let's go with the damage just because...
Marshals learn to pack those shells full of fire.
I think that is the easiest way to make this work as a long-range weapon, and then short range will get our damage from melee weapons of some variety. So maybe it is, in that case, worth making a point of re-equipping rather than the hammer, which I was not terribly enthused about using. What if we go for Scrap Musket? And I did really like the repeater, and we have fully upgraded it, so I am probably still thinking that's going to be our go-to long-range weapon, but it's not. It's sort of a mid-range weapon. Certainly doesn't have the same range as the Breaker's bow. So, I mean, I did like the machete, I think, for our close-range option. And then maybe we can switch around our special ability in that case, because we aren't as reliant upon this to give us a long-range solution. Oh, maybe this is what we got for getting the last award out of the challenge for the musket. Scrap Salvo, Scrap Musket Skill, a relentless series of blasts that overcompensates for the musket's slow rate of fire. Only once did the marshals resort to this technique in the days following the war. Or is it just that we've always had this and we were only able to use it on a specific weapon? Maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. We just didn't happen to have this at the time, or we weren't equipping the musket when we were looking at this. Okay. It does make me curious what it would be like to use the repeater option, because, as I said, that has thus far seemed to have been our most effective weapon.
Anything survives a musket shot ought to be quick work for that blade.
Indeed. Indeed. That's the plan, at least. But with that being said, I think this is a good place for us to wrap up here. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.